各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。喺新冠肺炎疫情期間有唔少人因為要長期居家抗疫，又或者係在家辦公，而考慮到領養一隻狗隻嚟到陪伴自己嘅家居生活㗎。不過狗隻除咗可以成為寵物犬陪伴主人之外部分嘅犬隻經過一系列嘅訓練之後更加可以成為服務人類嘅服務犬。雖然服務犬並唔係一個新鮮嘅概念咁喺公共場合上亦都不時會見到服務犬嘅身影。不過喺卑詩省，究竟喺一隻成功服務犬嘅背後牽涉到幾多嘅人力、物力以及犬力呢？
佢哋有時候會享受玩具喺陽光之下打成一片，不過喺着上制服之後，就立即搖身一變，成為專業嘅輔助犬，全心為人類投入服務。
Our dogs are selected from long lines of purpose-bred assistance dogs. This allows us to focus on the temperament of the dogs as well as being able to produce the healthiest dogs possible. We do have our own breeding program for these purpose-bred dogs, and we also exchange dogs with other organizations throughout North America.
喺卑詩省，位於本拿比嘅太平洋輔助犬協會就係省內其中一間訓練服務犬嘅機構。呢個機構將培育服務犬分為兩個主要階段，分別係飼養同埋訓練。喺狗隻飼養方面，協會就設立咗一個以義工為主導嘅幼犬飼養計劃。協會會將幼犬寄養喺義工飼養員嘅家庭入邊，直到可以接受進階訓練嘅時期。
The puppy raising program supports and raises our puppies before they're ready to go into advanced training. So at around 8 or 9 weeks old, they move from their breeder caretaker's home to a puppy raising home with a volunteer puppy raiser. And they live there with that puppy raiser until they're around 2 years old, give or take, depending on the dog.
而 Heather 亦都係由呢個計劃接觸到該輔助犬協會，從而成為一位幼犬飼養義工。
So nearly 5 years, I got my first dog, who's up here, Hero. And then I raised Greco, and then I raised Tira, who's now in advanced training. And then I got him, kind of raised him at the same time as Tira for part of it.
Heather 表示喺佢成長嘅時候都有養狗嘅經驗，並且有留意同服務犬相關嘅資訊。
I had heard about it when I was growing up. Read some book about raising assistance dogs, and then once I came out to the Lower Mainland after university, I decided I wanted to start volunteering with dogs, doing something in the dog industry, and so I rediscovered PADS, and of course quickly fell in love with the program, started volunteering, and got placed with my first puppy.
就幼犬飼養員嘅義工挑選方面，太平洋輔助犬協會嘅發言人 Meredith Eriskov 就表示，由網上收到公眾嘅義工申請之後，佢哋就會開始一連串嘅挑選工作。
They go through an online training process where there is key information for them as to what is expected of them during their puppy raising time. They also do an interview. Pre-COVID, these interviews were done in people's homes. Right now, they are done over Zoom, and we go through the home of the puppy raiser to make sure that it's a safe environment for the PADS dogs, as well as folks understand the level of commitment that they need to make in order to raise a PADS dog successfully.
不過，係咪需要好似 Heather 一樣有過飼養寵物狗嘅經驗，至能夠申請成為飼養義工呢？
No. You don't have to have had any formal training or have actually had a dog in your life to volunteer as a puppy raiser. Truth be told, we actually don't mind if you know nothing about dogs, because then we can teach you all about the things that we do in order to make a good service dog. So anyone can apply. We've got extensive training materials.
雖然義工申請人事前並唔需要有特別嘅資歷，但係 Meredith 強調，成為飼養義工最需要嘅係付出時間同埋心機。
Puppy raising is a full-time commitment. It's something that you don't enter into lightly. It's 24/7. So we look for people that are interested in dogs, obviously, interested in dog training, people that have a great sense of humor and are patient and can take instruction well and things like that. So It's very rewarding, but it's also a lot of work.
當申請人成功通過審核之後，協會就會正式為飼養義工配對合適嘅狗隻。
We take into consideration the temperament, personality, strengths and weaknesses of both the puppies that we're looking to match, as well as the volunteers that we're looking to place a puppy with. So we have puppies with all different temperaments, all different personalities, and so we really try to have a bunch of different types of volunteers from different lifestyles, different housing situations, work situations, so then we can match the puppies to the people as best way possible.
除咗照顧幼犬嘅日常起居生活之外，飼養員亦都要定期帶幼犬接受訓練。
So puppy raisers attend weekly puppy classes, and they attend 4 and 10-month walk-in talks with a trainer, as well as bring the dog in for a more formal assessment around 14 to 16 months. They also submit monthly puppy reports, as well as monthly pup dates.
不過有鑑於部分義工飼養員可能會有一啲突發狀況或者係出國等其他情況，暫時未能夠照顧幼犬。因此，協會亦都設有幼犬義工保姆計劃。Sarah Gallagher 就曾經係義工飼養員，同時亦都有參與過義工保姆計劃。
So when you're a full-time raiser, you have the dog with you full-time. When you are sitting, you make yourself available to be able to take a dog on when a full-time raiser has an appointment, has another function to do, go on vacation, and so sometimes ad hoc requests.
而當飼養員照顧嘅狗隻到達2歲嘅時候，就會帶返到協會進行一個服務犬評估。
When in advanced training, they go through a series of tests to see if they want to do the work, if the temperament allows it, and if they're still willing to be part of the program. If they pass these tests and are accepted into advanced training,
當狗隻成功被取錄到進階訓練之後，佢哋星期1到5就會留喺訓練場內接受服務犬訓練，而到週末，中心就會有進階訓練犬保姆嚟接佢哋返義工嘅屋企嚟度過週末。原本係幼犬飼養員嘅 Sarah Gallagher， 因為工作嘅轉變，決定停止幼犬飼養。不過佢就以進階犬保姆嘅身份繼續參與協會嘅義工服務。
And I turned in my last dog in August of last year, and at the same time I got a new job. And so being part of a full-time puppy raiser, you have to have the dog with you at work. And I needed to spend some time focusing on my job, but I didn't want to step away from the PADS community. And so advanced sitting is this incredible opportunity where you can sit the dogs through the weekends. And so I started that last September. When you're advanced sitting, it's an arrangement that you have the same dog each weekend. So I come to PADS on a Friday and I pick up a dog for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I return the dog on Monday.
採訪嘅當日就係星期5，所以 Sarah 就嚟到協會準備將正接受進階訓練嘅狗隻帶返屋企。
Boy, sit. Yes. So this is Houston. He is, like I said, I think he's just over 2, and he is the dog that I am currently advanced sitting. Well, we have a great weekend plan. One of the great things, I live on the west side of Vancouver, so myself and a number of other puppy raisers or advanced sitters, or quite frankly sitters, get to meet up in Pacific Spirit Park, which is a phenomenal place to take the dogs for a lovely hike, just to relax and be dogs.
雖然喺週末，正喺度接受訓練嘅犬隻可以暫時放低訓練，不過作為進階訓練犬保姆嘅 Sarah， 亦都要跟從一啲基本嘅指引嚟照顧服務犬。
In terms of when we walk them, they have to have, they're in loose leash walks, protocols on when they're in cape, what they can and can't do, how they can interact with people or other dogs when they're in cape, when they're out of cape. There's just a number of different aspects when you're training these dogs that you have to be mindful of. They're not a pet dog, so certainly when they're in cape and you're out in public with them in cape, they aren't able to interact with people without the sort of the attention and the permission of the handler at the time.
雖然 Sarah 係由去年9月至開始成為進階訓練犬保姆，不過 Houston 已經係佢第2隻照顧嘅進階訓練犬。
So I just turned in a dog that I'd had since September. Her name was Finesse, and she was a wonderful dog. And she chose her path just this past about 2 weeks ago. And so she's moved on to her new forever life, and I now have Houston. So it happens pretty quickly because PADS there's always movement happening in terms of where the dogs are in their cycles. And so that's kind of the glorious things about being an advanced sitter is it's not long term. You have a dog for a period of time, and then you get another dog. And I don't know how long I'll have Houston for, but I'm always open to new dogs and open to having Houston. It's kind of the fun about being an advanced sitter.
協會嘅義工會照顧同一隻狗，短則由進階訓練犬保姆嘅半年，長則到幼犬飼養員嘅2年，其實都係一段唔短嘅時間。當狗隻進入下一個階段嘅訓練或者工作嘅時候，就會同原來嘅義工分開。咁喺分開嘅時候，究竟義工又會唔會唔捨得呢？
I mean, that's the thing. When you make connections with any of these dogs, you miss them. But the reality is there's so many of them that if you just stay connected with one dog, you don't get the opportunity to meet all the others. So it's sort of wonderful. And quite frankly, when they go and achieve their purpose, it's so gratifying as a raiser, as a sitter, as an advanced sitter. You're just really happy for the end result.
I miss them. I love them. They're part of my heart and home for nearly 2 years. But they have a greater purpose, and they're going to change so many lives. So it's very rewarding as well.
而本來已經有意從事服務犬相關行業嘅 Heather， 喺開始接觸幼犬飼養服務之後，就加入咗協會，成為正式嘅服務犬訓練員。
唔係認識過義工以及訓練員為服務犬成長同訓練所要付出嘅精神同埋時間之後喺下一節我哋就會一齊去睇睇狗隻要接受啲乜嘢訓練先至能夠畢業成為一隻服務犬。翻嚟節目時間，目前卑詩省內有86隻服務犬正投入服務，但係唔知公眾有冇留意得到服務犬通常係嚟自某1至到2個品種嘅狗隻，究竟係咪某一啲品種嘅狗隻先至能夠更好咁完成服務人類嘅工作呢？而佢哋嘅訓練又係點樣嘅呢？
呢日太平洋輔助犬協會嘅訓練員 Heather 就帶同狗隻 Tara 嚟到一個商場進行公共場合訓練。
Yeah, so the plan today is we're going to take Tara through the mall in the same route that we do our walk and talk assessments. So we do these with puppies that are 4-month-old or around 4 months old at a different location, and then our dogs around 10 to 12 months old at the mall.Just so we can see how they're doing with their training. Here, sit. Good girl.
每次嘅訓練通常會由協會訓練員或者該狗隻所屬嘅幼犬飼養員負責完成，一般需時45到60分鐘，當中就包括唔同形式嘅訓練。
Good girl. Yeah, you're gonna lock on the next floor. Good girl.For the movement with the cart, it's kind of to see, Tara, sit. It's to see how exciting movement is, also the loud noise, whether they're, scared of that kind of noise or anything like that. So it kind of looks at a couple different aspects.
咁 Tara 嘅表現係點樣呢？
She did well. She wasn't, she noticed the noise, but she wasn't, scared of it or super excited by it. And she wasn't, trying to chase after the movement of it or anything like that. So, did pretty well with that. Good girl.
服務犬除咗要能夠專心，免受外來環境嘅因素影響，另一個主要嘅訓練內容就係要對付狗隻貪食嘅天性。
What we're trying to work on with that is food refusal from a stranger, and we'll get to the point where if a stranger approaches her in public or wherever and offers either to try and pet her or offers her food, that she'll get to the point where she's going to refuse it from them. So she should only be looking for food and reinforcement from her handler. So an exercise like that just kind of tests out how she's doing with that. And so in this case, she did really well. She did do a little bit of a sniff at one point, but she still didn't really go for it.
不過，除咗狗隻要有自制能力之外，其實公眾亦都一樣需要。Heather 提醒公眾喺公共場合遇到服務犬嘅時候，並唔好嘗試同佢哋互動。
When she's in public with her client, we really don't want people trying to distract the working dogs, trying to get their attention, trying to pet them in public, because that can be, detrimental to the work that she's doing with her client, with her future handler. And so at this point, we kind of, she's not with a client at this point, but we're still trying to set the stage for the public as well as for her that, strangers are to be ignored and keep the focus on the handler so that she gets used to that for the future. All right, let's go. Good. Tira, heel. Heel. Good, let's go. Biggest distraction for her is probably things on the floor or like other people. You're very distracted. Side. Good girl, let's go. Good. I was just kind of getting her focus back on me a little bit because she's starting to get distracted by all the crew with us. So I just gave her a couple fun cues that she likes to do some work, and that just kind of helps get her mind back in the proper working zone.
除咗耳熟能詳嘅導盲犬之外，其實輔助犬仲包括助聽犬 （hearing dog）、行動輔助犬 （mobility assistance dog） 同埋認可設施犬 （accredited facility dog） 等服務身心障礙人士嘅專業犬隻。Heather 表示，雖然服務犬分為眾多唔同種類，但係每一類嘅服務犬都要經歷同樣嘅公共場合訓練。
All of the puppies are trained very much the same. We take them out in public. We teach them, sit down, different skills, how to refuse food, how to walk nicely on leash and have good house manners. And then once they go into advanced training, that's when they start to kind of specialize in different skills.
而 Tara 有正準備成為邊一類嘅服務犬呢？
Right now we're hoping that she becomes a hearing dog, but right now it's still a little bit up in the air. It's still fairly general training, but hopefully hearing. Let's go. Tira, wait. Good. Tira, out. Good girl. Let's go.
Is where a lot happens.
喺協會過去嘅一次開放日入邊，協會就向公眾示範唔同輔助犬嘅訓練過程。
So I guess I should describe a bit more what a hearing dog actually means. It is for someone who is deaf or hard of hearing. So what he does is he learns key important noises in an environment, and he alerts that person about that noise.
Because 助聽犬將訓練員帶到發出聲響嘅地點，透過得到獎勵強化正確行為。
Because the sound is so important to maintain that excitement for the sound, we always pay them at the site of the sound. So
只係好平常嘅開門聲，助聽犬都打醒12分精神。至於行動輔助犬，由於佢哋負責協助行動不便同埋使用輪椅嘅殘障人士，佢哋嘅訓練性質會傾向鍛鍊佢哋照顧主人日常生活嘅能力。除咗較簡單嘅指令，好似執嘢之外，行動輔助犬甚至仲會學習點樣打開雪櫃，幫主人攞嘢。
Good job. Good boy, Boomer. Boomer, look. Get it? Hold. Good boy. Bring it here. Give. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
雖然佢哋訓練有素，不過有時候亦都會擺下烏龍。
Boomer up. Oh, he's doing a good way. Boomer. Here, buddy. This is how I want to go.
而認可設施犬嘅性情就比較冷靜，一啲執法部門就會將佢引入工作地點， 安撫受害人嘅心情，甚至會陪同佢哋出席聆訊。
If there is a criminal incident that takes place, so for example, if it was an armed robbery, or I'm trying to think of something else, even, as serious as a homicide, and the person is completely distressed, then we can introduce the dog to them right at the scene, and then also go with them through the entire criminal justice system.
而喺眾多狗隻品種入邊，邊一種會更適合成為服務犬呢？而佢哋又需要擁有咩特質呢？
Yeah, so we train Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers, and then crosses between the two. We find that those breeds are the most suitable for this line of work.
Yeah, we really look for dogs that are resilient, so they're able to be successful after a potentially stressful situation. They can kind of bounce back. We like dogs that are food motivated. That makes training really a lot easier on us, and dogs that really like to engage with their person, like to work with people, that are confident and adaptable. Obviously, in their line of work, they're going to be running into a lot of different situations, so being flexible and adaptable is important.
不過協會嘅發言人就表示，狗隻同人一樣，即使喺同一個品種入邊，都會有唔同嘅性情同埋意願。
Not all of the dogs that get turned into advanced training actually make it through the program. Some of them show us along the way that they're not meant to be service dogs, that they want to be something else. We like to listen to the dogs and make sure that they are placed in the environment that they're most comfortable in. Dogs show us that they do want to work, but maybe in a different field, so they can go on to be detection dogs, either medical detection or drug detection, which is really interesting. So that's really other things that can happen when a dog is no longer going to be part of the PADS program.
不過，如果狗隻並冇成為工作犬嘅意願或者特質，協會就會安排佢哋重返寵物犬嘅生活。
Many of the dogs get placed as VIPs, which stands for Very Important Pets. Very important pets are placed with families that have members with various disabilities or life-altering illnesses that would benefit from having a dog in their life, a very well-trained dog that can help them with their daily life.
Let's go. Tira, go in. Good girl.
而經歷過協會訓練嘅狗隻，除咗工作技能之外，協會亦都會教導狗隻一啲指令，令佢哋成為一隻更容易同人合作嘅狗隻。
So we can teach things like chin. So then we can check our dog's teeth. We can check their eyes. We can check their ears. And when our dogs go to the vet with their client, it can make the whole process smoother. So then some of our clients might not be able to help kind of restrain the dog. So if they're able to do a cue like a chin, so where they stay in place while people touch them, then that can make it easier for the vets to do any sort of body checks that they need to. Tira, out. Good girl. Tira, heel. Good, let's go.
喺整個訓練過程當中 ，Heather 認為，除咗狗隻會從訓練中成長，其實訓練員亦都會喺同狗隻訓練入邊學到唔同嘅事情。最後狗隻成功由訓練課程畢業之後，服務到有需要嘅人，形成一個三贏嘅局面。
I'd say each dog changes you. You learn something new with every single one because they're all individuals, just like people are individuals. You learn a lot of patience with the dogs. While the dogs need to be flexible, you also need to be flexible as a human, as a handler.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話呢，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。我哋嘅電郵地址係 mag26@fairchildtv.com。咁如果觀眾想重溫翻今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站3w.fairchildtv.com， 點擊節目重溫一欄就可以睇得翻㗎啦。下星期同一時間再同大家見面，晚安。